Hi, my name is Shubhra Kar. I am the product manager for StrongLoop, and I'm going to talk about StrongOps 2.0 marquee features. Error detection. Error detection is a difficult problem to solve because as you go across async boundaries, anonymous function calls, there isn't a semblance of an error stack trace like what you have in the Java world. What our product does is it started using domains and took 8 frames of error that are unhandled, are thrown by the functions, stitches it all together and gives you a correlation to the nearest incoming request URL. So we grab the request ID, attach the error stack to the request transaction, displayed by individual processes as well as aggregate it across an application. Version 2 of error detection, what we are investing in, will bring long error stack traces, getting you on parity with mature technologies like Java. Debugging. Debugging in Node is again an interesting problem. So we introduced Node Inspector version 2.0 with advanced debug features. You can set breakpoints, you can watch expressions, you can iterate through multiple objects to see how they are muted and unmutable objects, values pairs, as well as you can load source maps on the fly to do dynamic debugging sessions. Memory profiling is a very useful feature when you are trying to detect memory leaks in a Node.js application. Memory usage is plotted by our product for every object type, so you can see things like slow buffers or collection objects like arrays, hash maps, what you have, right? Or request objects, server response objects, strings, timeouts. So as these objects consume memory over multiple garbage collection cycles, we watch them. In addition to that, we also look at the instance counts for these objects. If the number of instances for these objects are pretty much steady, and objects are returned back to memory as you go over iterative GC cycles, you are not actually leaking memory. But if you slowly see those object counts creeping up exponentially, you have a memory leak in the application. So this memory profiling lets you identify what type of object is actually leaking. Now to nail it down to exactly line of code, we did introduce Heap Snapshots. Heap Snapshots is a command line utility. You can run it. It would take a heap dump, and you can run it programmatically, proactively, and then you can load those heap snapshots in Google's V8 Chrome Web Toolkit to narrow down the different objects by counts, salary sizes, retained sizes. Are they how many GC roots are still held back, and you can actually isolate it down to the line of code. Scaling in cluster management in Node is unsolved problem. It's a very immature space. So what we did was we introduced scaling to solve two key use cases. One was to run Node applications running on different processes or different cores of the CPU as a clustered application. Today, Node is single-threaded, and that's what gives us the benefits of concurrency and I/O. But you can run the Node application in a clustered mode where every process can be aware of each other and can even share the state and the session of the cluster. Additionally, our tool set also gives you the ability to scale up or scale down the cluster based on the workload of a system. So you could go from 1 process to 4 process or 1 process to 8 processes based on the number of cores you have on your machine. And all of these processes will be available as child processes within that cluster. Alerts add maturity to our product. You can set up threshold, trigger alerts, have them send emails to your subject matter experts. Open Data API lets you extract rich application performance management data, like all the metrics that we are collecting, or cluster information, or runtime states, and pull them up into other system and event management tools as well as reporting engines. With our V1 features that existed before this release, we have put a new UI. We have made them more stable. So things like CPU response time, event loops, heap metrics, profiling, messages, all of them have been greatly improved. So we'd love to try you to try our product and would appreciate the feedback. Thank you.